I am joined now by an all-star panel, a fabulous panel, the world's most amazing panel. I've got Republican strategist Leslie Sanchez, Democratic strategist Linda Tran, and our senior political editor Steve Chigueras. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Thanks so much for being with me. So, gosh, where to start? Okay, Leslie, if you were advising Donald Trump, what would you tell him to say tonight? What would you tell him not to say? And would you have any confidence that he would listen to you?
The funny part about that is when you tell candidates things not to say, it tends to be the last thing they hear and they loop it. You know, whatever you do, don't say this word. And it is exactly the one thing that they remember going into the debate. He has to be his authentic self, which is the part that really frustrates a lot of people because his authentic self is brash, boorish. He's a vulgarian. I mean, we know that there are many things that this campaign has exposed. They don't expect him to have a lot of finesse, but he does need to look contrite. But he still has to project leadership. So it's a very difficult thing, especially in this theater, which is so compact, and they're very close to each other.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already feeling a little bit uncomfortable thinking about them discussing these things, you know, with all these voters right there next to them.
There's not a lot of distance between them. There's not between the candidates, which is what we normally think about, but we were looking at the stage, and it's actually very close to the voters as well.
Linda, it was surreal enough as a reporter to kind of watch all of these Republicans, one after the other, start unendorsing Donald Trump on Saturday. What was it like as a Democratic strategist? What were other Democrats saying? I mean, were they gleeful? Were they shocked? Were they just thinking we're now in uncharted territory? What was the reaction?
I think like much else that has happened this cycle, it just ran the spectrum. So you had people who were very excited, thought it was hysterical, thought it was amazing, very happy about it. And then you had people who were actually angry because their point was, why is this the moment that you're finally stepping down? Why is this the moment you're finally criticizing his attack when he's already been out there talking about, you know, a Mexican-American judge's heritage, meaning that he couldn't be neutral. I mean, all these other sorts of things, banning Muslims, et cetera. And so the anger comes from what took you so long, and it feels like it's politically expedient.
And that's an argument that Democrats are going to be using from now until Election Day. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. But Steve, the Clinton campaign has already kind of signaled how this is going to go down tonight. They say Hillary Clinton has purposely held her fire on this until she's on that debate stage with Donald Trump before millions of people. It's clear that they were almost trying to get into Donald Trump's head a little bit and say, hey, this is coming, and you don't know what she's going to say. Is that going to work? And is that a good strategy for her?
Well, the other thing is she's going to get first crack at this question. As CNN reported, that's going to be the first question, and she won the coin flip, and so she gets to answer it first. So that's going to be very interesting to see how Trump reacts to a question about him that she's answering first, right?
Right.
So we'll see what happens there. I mean, you know, again, it all comes down to, if you look at what his biggest weakness was at the first debate, it was how he reacted to her putting him on defense, right? So she is now, right out of the gate, going to be putting him on defense on one of the most explosive stories we've ever seen in a presidential campaign. So we're all going to be waiting for Trump's response to that. Does he keep his temperament in check? Is he able to, you know, show a little bit of, you know, maybe be a little contrite as he's answering that question, or does he fall into the trap of going after Hillary Clinton? Because you know she's not going to come out. She's going to come out aggressive on this.
Right. We've already gotten an indication that he's not necessarily all that contrite because he's been tweeting today. He said, for example, so many self-righteous hypocrites, talking about the Republicans who have unendorsed him, watch their poll numbers and elections go down. You know, and he retweeted people, supporters saying that the GOP legislators are traitors, not supporting you is voting for her, and that Republican leadership should have only one job, which is help elect Donald Trump. So I think if people are looking for him to change his tune, it's not necessarily going to happen.
And it's going to be really interesting because he's going to know that he has 80+ million people watching here, right? And everybody is saying, well, he needs to show to women voters and he needs to show to college-educated voters that he can change, that he could pivot, that he can be presidential, that he has the temperament to be president. But at the same time, with all that's happened in terms of Republicans throwing him under the bus the last couple of days, does he just go scorched earth tonight and just say for the last 30 days of this campaign, I don't care. I'm just going to go out there, and it's just going to be kamikaze mission, and let's just try to get this thing done.
So we know
see.
that there was a powwow at Trump Tower yesterday with Trump and some of his top advisors on what to do. And one of those advisors who was involved is Senator Jeff Sessions of Alabama, who Major Garrett just spoke to a short time ago. So let's listen to what he had to say. Basically, his message was that Republicans should just calm down. Take a listen.
I would urge my colleagues to take a deep breath. Slow down a little bit here. Let's analyze the big picture. We've got two visions of America. If we don't elect Donald Trump, I'm not sure we'll ever get immigration fixed again. Donald Trump will negotiate trade agreements that protect American manufacturing and American jobs and wages, whereas Hillary Clinton is going to continue, as she said in that secret meetings with rich special interest, that she's going to promote more of these trade agreements, and she favors open borders.
So you heard some of the strategy there. We heard it from Rudy Giuliani this morning as well. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Say he's sorry, and then talk about all the bad things that Hillary Clinton has done. Leslie, I want to ask you about these vulnerable Senate Republicans who were among the first to come out against Donald Trump yesterday. Kelly Ayotte of New Hampshire, for example, or Joe Heck, who's running for